Welcome everybody to episode 15 of WWPWW. That's right.
15.
15, halfway to 30.
That's right. Awesome.
So, we are coming at you live and loud from the mean streets of central Illinois. That is right.
They're pretty mean.
They're
I was here
pretty
the other
mean.
night, and man, it was awful.
Cornfields as far as the eye can see. Opossums, raccoons. Ugh, terrible, terrible, terrible. But we are safe here in our recording studio, as it were.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking to you about the go-home shows of Raw and SmackDown. Two really solid shows, I thought.
Yeah, I agree.
Two really, really good shows, I thought. Pretty good. So, yeah, going to go into that. Going to do a quick rundown of all the stuff that happened there. Just touch on the big moments and then go into our predictions for Survivor Series, which is shaping up to just be probably the best pay-per-view of the year. Like, it's shaping up to be awesome. And then we're also going to do our top 10 dream matches of all time, which I think will be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Any wrestler, any era, any type of match, you know, what we would most want to see. When we die and go to heaven and see the Almighty, like, hey, I want to see this match. And he's like, okay. Even if the person's not dead yet, like, he could create a clone or something. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
Words.
I'm just saying things. So, let's go ahead and jump right into Raw is Jericho.
And that's exactly what it is. Raw is Jericho. I think we've said it a lot of different times. From the scarf situation to putting people on the list. He was the best thing about the show.
Since the brand split, I feel like he's been Raw's MVP.
Yeah, very, very consistent, very, very funny. You've said before, him in the ring has been some of the best we've seen from him. Not his best, when he was younger, he could do a lot more, but really, really good. What did you think of this Raw as a whole?
I thought overall this was a really great Raw. I feel like this is the best Raw we've had in a really long time. It was interesting because in the couple weeks after the brand split, you and I were both kind of like, man, like SmackDown was good, but Raw's a little better. And then it seems like over the past month and a half, we've been saying Raw was okay, but SmackDown was great.
Yep.
And so I feel like for the first time in a long time, I've been able to say, wow, Raw and SmackDown both back to back. These were both really, really good.
Yeah, I would really, really agree. What was your favorite thing about Raw this week?
Oh, I think it was both of our favorite things, which was the Goldberg-Lesnar face-off.
Yep.
That whole segment was great. With Heyman on the mic, almost sounding scared in a couple moments
Yeah.
to Lesnar almost falling off right on his dumb head when he jumped up in the ring. That was funny. And and then just Goldberg just still being Goldberg.
Yep.
Was awesome. I just love that he flipped out and went crazy on the security team, quote unquote, and was just knocking them all over, and then just ripped his shirt off and looked at Brock, and Brock ripped his shirt off, and they had the stare down, and then Brock just kind of looked scared for a second. Like, I thought he sold that really, really well. Just the whole segment was great, man. Would you?
Yeah, it was a great exclamation point to the build up for this match. I'm very, very much looking forward to this match. Probably the match that I'm looking forward to the most. I'm more intrigued with at least one of these, or well, two of these other matches, but I'm really looking forward to this match. I don't know if it's going to be very good. Goldberg hasn't been in the ring for 12 years. Lesnar is a one note character right now, and so we'll see. I'm hoping they got together in this off time to put something together. That would make sense. That would it would be best for business. It would be best for the people who are watching this match for that to happen. I hope Lesnar doesn't try to kill himself again with the jumping off of stuff. I hope it's a good, well mixed match. But you're right. This Monday night was a great night to see something go crazy, and it was really, really cool. Goldberg being that intense again. Some of my notes, I said the feels. Like, it brings back so many memories of watching Goldberg wrestle.
It turns me back into being like a 7-8-year-old kid watching, Monday Nitro and stuff like that, and just being like, I'm watching Goldberg. Like, I turn back into a little kid. I'm just like, yeah, Goldberg, yeah, get him,
Exactly.
yeah. And so it's cool. It's kind of cool. I know uh, it's funny because you can say, oh yeah, I watch cartoons, or oh yeah, I like Harry Potter, but if you say, oh yeah, I like wrestling, people are like, it's fake, right? Like,
Yeah.
or they look at it as something or they look at it as being stupid and childish and stuff like that. It's just like, said the guy wearing the My Little Pony T-shirt.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's like no, why can't I be nostalgic and enjoy something, like this, and this is a prime example of why I do, because it calls back to when I was a kid, and when you're a kid and you're watching wrestling, it's real, and it's oh, that's not Bill Goldberg, that's Goldberg.
Exactly.
Oh, that's not Steven Anderson, that's Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
That's not Dwayne Johnson, that's The Rock.
Exactly.
And so it takes me back to that, like you were saying. Yeah, I think you and I both have that same uh, reaction to watching Goldberg. It takes us back to simpler days. Takes us back to more fun days of just like, yeah, just Goldberg, man.
Yeah, because Goldberg wasn't a storyline guy. It wasn't like you put him in a storyline and he would feud with this person, blah 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 blah. It was this guy is going to destroy you, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things. And so you're absolutely right. It's a simpler time, flashback to a great time in wrestling, and I can't wait for this match. The other thing, one of my other favorite things that happened was at the end of the night, when all of the guys come out and Mick and Stephanie bring Shane and Daniel out, and they trade some verbal barbs back and forth. Shane continuing to talk about this opportunity, being SmackDown Live being the land of opportunity, and Stephanie saying something that I think needed to be said because it's true. Shane is taking away an opportunity from the SmackDown Live member, but it's kind of like, yeah, that's what we're all thinking. It's like it's the same old thing. What did you think of everything that happened, the verbal barbs back and forth?
Yeah. I thought it was pretty. I liked Daniel Bryan and Mick Foley going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a lot of fun. Just so, and like, even when Daniel Bryan is trying to slam somebody, he at the end of it still pays him a compliment, which I thought was funny.
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, at least Shane has a GM who didn't act like a lunatic and jump off of high objects, and then he just smiled and did the thumbs up, and Mick Foley did. And then Daniel Bryan's just like, which we love him for.
That's the exact reason why we love him.
Like that was funny. And yeah, I thought it was interesting that Steph was, it's typical same old sibling rivalry thing that they've been doing forever. Not just since the brand split. Like, this kind of stuff used to happen back in the Attitude Era.
Yep.
And in the Ruthless Aggression Era, like, all the time. Of, every so often, it's like Game of Thrones with them. It's like, 1 second they're all on the same page, they're all the McMahon family and stuff, and then it's just like, oh, Shane is, breaking away from the family, and then, Triple H, is mad at Vince, and so Steph sides with Triple H, and then they all collide,
Yeah.
This isn't new, but it's done in a better way this time.
Yeah.
Because they're the head of SmackDown and the head of Raw, and they've
grown up.
They've grown up.
Quote unquote grown up.
And they've had Mick Foley and Daniel Bryan at their sides, and they're not like, it's not just like, well, Shane, my husband's gonna beat you up, kind of.
Yeah.
thing. They're handling this like business people.
Yep.
And so it's being handled very well, and I think that Mick Foley and Daniel Bryan respectively have been grounding them.
I agree with that.
I feel like it's keeping their characters from doing stuff like that. It's just like it's good storytelling. It's good for the the characters to not go back into that.
Yeah, I would agree. And in these kind of things that make me realize that the WWE, they're creative, even though we can knock on them for like the writing of the show. The reality is when they think of something big like this, doing the brand split and saying, you know what, Stephanie can have Raw, Shane can have SmackDown Live. We get that, and then like you said, they ground us with two ex-wrestlers who love the sport and love the brand, and so you do that. But I don't know. Not only that, you kind of get that the 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 past meets the future stuff with not only the two who have been doing it forever and ever, fight, like you said, fighting on and off and on for a long time, but you get Daniel Bryan, who people love for now, this generation's of wrestling, and then Mick Foley, who's kind of got that same kind of character. People loved him as Cactus Jack, loved him in all of his other faces. You get these two characters who creative may not have loved them as much as the whole WWE universe, and so it's really really cool that they've done that, and now it's kind of culminating, not really culminating, but continuing on in this Survivor Series. And so like you said, there's some barbs back and forth. Daniel Bryan, thank you for putting up the entire cruiserweight.
Yeah, we can't wait. We can't wait to have the cruiserweight division on SmackDown.
That was really good.
That was funny. I forgot about that. Yeah, that was good.
And then after some barbs, it's like, oh hey, why don't you meet Team Raw and come out Team Raw, and Team Raw comes out to face a very aging Shane, who still looks good and still can wrestle, and Daniel Bryan, who has some issues with concussions, and so it's like they brought him out, and
yeah, I thought it was very interesting. Just like Team Raw, come out here and kill Shane, basically. Like
exactly.
it was funny. It's just kind of it didn't make sense because it's like he's participating in it, and like and he's the general manager of,
he's a boss.
or the commissioner rather, of SmackDown. So it's like it was just funny. Like, Team Raw, come out here. All right, kill Shane. Like,
and they leave the ring. And it's like
it was funny. But then we have the other best segment of the night, which was Team Raw invading Team SmackDown invading Monday Night Raw rather, and awesome. They stood there in the ring, all 10 guys facing off against each other, Mexican standoff, like West Side Story, Sharks and the Jets. We're gonna have a rumble, and it was great. Like, they were going back and forth on the mic. AJ Styles had some great jabs at Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. Then Bray Wyatt had some great things to say with Braun Strowman, kind of setting up there, and then Randy Orton steps in front of Bray Wyatt and then faces off with Braun Strowman, and there's this really nice electricity happening there, and the crowd started chanting yes, 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 and I just love Shane, just like, whoa, things just got really interesting here. So, I think that'll be really cool to see. I hope we see those two guys together in the ring at SummerSlam at one point, just them two, and then also, AJ Styles and Roman Reigns. I would love to see them kind of have a bit of a rematch from their two things in this match, this Survivor Series match also. So many potential matchups, in that, and so many great feuds can culminate from these 3 Survivor Series matches. So, yeah, like, just all these things that were going on with this segment. I don't think there was a single wrong thing with it, man. It was great.
Yeah, and it absolutely did what they needed it to do. It made us super psyched to see the match between these two teams, and they still continued there's still going to be issues with some members of the Team Raw, and there's going to be some issues with the Team SmackDown. We get that, but now they've gotten into the ring, and it's like, no, right now it's SmackDown versus Raw. Yes, we still have our feuds, but put that aside, and we're going to go into Survivor Series to face each other. And so the kind of melee after the fact was really, really well done. Talking about this before, everybody got their spot in, which was great. And then, it put Team Raw, because they're on Raw, as Stephanie said to the crowd.
Yeah, that was
funny. You guys
funny.
realize that you're in Raw, right?
SmackDown is better, and then everybody's like, yes, 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 and she's like, you're at Raw right now. Like, that was funny.
And I think that does two things. It's one, it makes those of us who watch it and are critics of it, it makes us be like, yes, they get it, they understand. But also, it kind of is a jab to us and to those. It's like, even though you think SmackDown Live is better, you're still gonna buy the Raw ticket. And so,
Hmm.
what does it matter that
Yeah.
one's better than the other? You're right, Steph. It doesn't matter that we buy the tickets for both and think SmackDown's better. You are winning. You've got billions of dollars or whatever it is that you guys have. Um, so yeah, it did this whole segment. Both segments, both big segments on Raw, did what they were supposed to do. Hype Survivor Series, and I'm super psyched for at least these two matches for Survivor
Hmm.
Series. Is there anything else about Raw that you wanted to talk about?
Oh yeah, just the the scarf segment with
Yep.
Chris Jericho giving scarves to Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins. That was funny. This is a scarf of Jericho. Try it on, man. Like that was great, and that segment was hilarious. And then the match to open the show, the tag team match, it was Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens facing Cesaro and Sheamus. I thought that was a really interesting dynamic, a heel and a babyface teaming up to take on a heel and a babyface. Um, I kind of like that. I liked the ending to it. I know a lot of people had problems with it for whatever reason. I liked it because it was kind of different.
Yep.
We haven't seen something like that at least for a really long time, and so I thought that was kind of cool. It made Roman look strong, and it made Kevin Owens um, look like he actually does need Chris Jericho, which
That's a good point.
I don't have a problem with because that's
Yeah.
been their whole thing. We're best friends. We need each other. We are the Universal
Yes.
Champion.
That's a good point. Very, very good point.
So I like that. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it makes him look, silly, and you shouldn't make, like Kevin Owens is the champion. You should make it like Seth Rollins when he was holding the championship last year, he didn't win a single match cleanly, like hardly, because he had J&J Security or he had Kane or the rest of the Authority or, he cheated when the referee wasn't looking. There was always some reason that he won, and I don't get how people uh, are critical of this, but that for some reason was it's like, well, it's different. Well, no, he's not, because they were both heels and they're both doing this, acting like heels. So, but yeah, I thought the match was good. I thought all four of the guys worked well together, and a couple little things here and there that are escaping my mind, but for the most part, I thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah, I would say so. I think my favorite match of the night was the New Day versus Jericho, Strowman, and Rollins, and just because there are several great spots in it. I loved Rollins and Woods. I loved Strowman when Jericho tagged him. He was like, "You slapped me," and there was a lot of fun with that. It also shows that the New Day um, isn't invincible,
Mm.
which is really nice. It's interesting to see what will happen after this. Like we've said before, there's no real kind of heir to the throne, if you will, in tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see where that goes. It's another loss for New Day. There's nothing else I really want to talk about.
There was a match. Enzo and Cass teamed up with uh,
Anderson and Gallows.
Anderson and Gallows. I can't remember who they took on. I think it was the Shining Stars and
Golden Truth.
was it Golden Truth? I couldn't remember.
That's
Yeah, that's who it was.
I didn't watch it, but I know.
Yeah, that's who it. That match was fun. It was a lot of fun. It had some good moments between all four of the tag teams, like infighting with each other, and then like there's a good moment where um, uh, Anderson and Gallows get knocked off one side by Golden Truth, and then Enzo and Cass knock the Shining Stars off the other side, and then Enzo and Cass come back to back with Golden Truth, and they stare at each other, and then they turn around and attack the the tag team that they knocked out. It was a good moment.
That's funny.
But Monday Night Raw was pretty good. If you were to give it a letter grade, what would you think?
Are we doing the IPAs or are we doing what
are
we doing? We need to have a good.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we keep forgetting. I keep forgetting we're doing the Stone Cold Smoking Skull IPA. All right, so how many Smoking Skull IPAs would you give this here Raw?
It was solid. I would say, I want to say 4. I give it a 4, mostly because of the promo work that was done. The matches were okay, but yeah, the promo work is what made me give it a 4. What about you?
I would give it a 4 also.
Cool.
I would definitely give it a 4. I just feel like Goldberg Lesnar segment, and then I was just like, man, how come that didn't go on last? And then when I saw the last segment, I was like, oh, that's why, because this segment was awesome. This segment needed to close out the show.
Agreed.
So yeah, that's how I feel. We're both in agreement. 4 out of 5 Smoking Skull IPAs for Monday Night Raw.
Yep.
Really good show.
Really
Solid.
good.
Which brings us to SmackDown.
SmackDown Live 900th episode.
Yes.
They promised.
Yes.
They promised us Undertaker and Cutting Edge.
They delivered.
They did. I didn't know how that was gonna happen, and I had one complaint, but it's not a big complaint at the end. But we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
They start off the episode with, I think, the best out of the 3 matches these guys have done so far. The Intercontinental Championship match, Miz versus Ziggler. It's my favorite out of the 3.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know what you think.
It's my second. No Mercy is still my favorite.
It was a good match.
But this one, this one was pretty good. It was good. Stinks Dolph lost. Because I was really looking forward to him and Sami Zayn.
Yep.
But it looks like they're doing this because they want Sami Zayn to face a heel, which maybe could lead to him actually winning the title. But we could get into that more when we talk about SummerSlam here in a second, or in a couple minutes rather. But
and I would agree with you. I think he's going to win it. I didn't think about the heel, but I thought he was going to win it.
Yeah,
that's a very good.
Because
point.
I was like, oh yeah, Dolph, cool. Like I wanted Dolph to have it for a while.
Yeah.
And but he's okay. He's so over with the crowd. He's like Shawn Michaels when he came back from injury from that 4 years. He's like Shawn Michaels hardly ever won a title, or I don't think ever did when he came back, because he was so over. People loved him so much he didn't need to.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Dolph is I would love to see him have a good title reign either with the Universal or the World Championship. I personally would love to see him take it from AJ Styles maybe down the road. But oh dude, that could be a Mania main event actually.
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler, Royal Rumble winner, 2017. But anyways, yeah, this match was really, really good. I did like it. I hated to see Dolph lose because just because he's the good guy and he's Dolph Ziggler, man.
Yeah. What did you think of the finish? Maurice pushing them over.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. Like it was really funny because it was just such a petty, such in character thing to do for them.
Yeah.
That it worked. Like that she just gotta push them over so that he was pinning Dolph, instead of the other way around.
Yeah. It was more smooth than I thought it was going to be. That push over. I was like, from the angle they showed it at first, I was like, wow, that was pretty seamless where she just pushed him over. But then the other angle, it wasn't as good. Yeah, this was a great match. The Spirit Squad interferes again. What was I going to say about this match? Yeah, you're right about the Sami Zayn thing. I didn't think about that, the heel factor, but you're absolutely right about that. You're right. We're going to talk about that later because I have some predictions for that. Overall, Intercontinental Championship match, great match. It is sad to see Dolph lose, but it needed to happen because of what's going to happen, I think, at Survivor Series. And then, what else do you want to talk about Survivor Series? There's not a crazy amount.
Yeah, I liked the segment backstage where Alexa Bliss was talking to Daniel Bryan, and she was like, look right there, my foot was on the rope, right there. Like, I see that, I get that, but the referee's decision is final, okay? But I've seen it. I saw it the first time, and the second time, and the third time, and the fourth time, and now the fifth time. Like, and then all of a sudden Natalia comes in with the whistle and stuff, and then she quotes "Tub Thumping" by Chumbawamba. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I think that's funny.
I do too.
They're giving her something to do instead of just being, because like she really doesn't have like a character gimmick other than she was the only woman to graduate from the Heart Dungeon.
Yeah.
That was all they would say about it. Like, they're giving her something to do, and they're giving her this really funny gimmick of quoting famous songs.
Yeah. I don't know if they're all 90s songs, but that would be funny if she's just stuck in the 90s. Like that's the only thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing she does. Yeah, that'd be funny.
90s, but it's really, really funny. It's well written. I agree.
It is, and I love it. I thought it was funny, and she's just like, you get knocked down, you get back up again. You're never gonna keep you down. Like, and it's just like Chumbawamba, really? Like, and then
Yeah.
Alexa Bliss just walks off, and then Natalia just, what's a Chumbawamba?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't care what anybody says. I've been loving this thing with Natalia. I
Yep.
think it's funny, and I love that she has the whistle that doesn't quite work,
Yeah.
and she's like mad at it. Like, I love it. I don't care what anybody says. It's funny.
I agree. I thought that was really, really funny and very clever, like you said, giving Natalia something. I keep it coming, keep it kind of obscure.
Hmm.
I know Chumbawamba, that song was really popular, but keep it obscure where it's like it makes sense that she's quoting the songs as she is. Anything else you want to talk about? The whole, I guess we can go from there to the Nikki Bella versus Carmella.
Yeah.
Kind of what sets up there. There were some really fun spots. I think some people didn't like this match. I thought it was good. I thought
it was really good too.
I thought Carmella looked very strong, like
Mm.
some of the best wrestling that she's done in a while.
It's just a little thing. Just
Yeah.
every so often wrestlers do something. It's just the smallest little thing, the smallest little touch that makes everything funny. Carmella was like walking down the ramp, as she always does, and she's kind of being all bubbly and just kind of like whatever, to the crowd, and then she looks up in the ring and she goes, "Hi, Nikki!" and like waves at her. Like, that killed me. That was funny.
Yeah,
Like, like that annoying friend at the party that you're like,
Yep.
oh god, I don't want them to see me. I don't want them. And they're like, hey, you're just like, ugh. Like, it kind of was like that, and I thought that was hilarious.
I agree. There was really, and even Nikki Bella looks better than she's ever looked as far as I understand. I think she looked good. But then after all this stuff, Charlotte comes down and
That was great.
and sits at her seat. And did you hear what was chanted around her?
Yeah.
It's legit.
It's legit.
It's legit. It's
yeah.
like, why? What? I mean, it's a ticket that she could have gotten from. It doesn't matter where she got it, but she got a ticket. It's legit. It's legit. Whatever, man.
I know.
It's not legit. It's a spot. You guys are marks.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Charlotte and Nikki pulling her into the ring and all everything?
I loved it how she just was like, just like, go Nikki, yeah, Nikki.
Yeah.
Just she kept rooting for her, but it was in such a passive aggressive, annoying way, that she was just getting under her skin and stuff. And I loved that she was just sitting there, just like with her belt and just kind of looking, just like, come on Nikki, yeah, Nikki, and stuff.
Mhm.
And like that was funny. I liked that. And Nikki just loses it, just pulls her out and into the ring and just starts beating her up. And then Team Raw invades SmackDown this time. And then they just start ganging up on Nikki Bella. And then Carmella, I can't tell if Carmella was also hitting Nikki Bella or if she was hitting the Raw superstars. I was like, is she gonna start hitting Nikki or is she gonna start hitting like Alicia Fox or something? And then I couldn't tell what she was doing. I was like, was she attacking her or was she attacking Nikki? Like, I couldn't tell. It was funny that you kind of couldn't tell about it. And then the Raw women were attacked by the SmackDown women, and they came running down the ramp and stuff, which I thought was cool. And the reverse of what happened with the guys last night, which people are like, oh, it's just the same thing, but it's with women and it's on SmackDown. It's like, so shut up. It was cool.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of knew something had to have happened.
But yeah, I thought it was funny. I just thought this whole segment was really good, really well done, and I thought it made the SmackDown. I think the Raw men's team will win, but I think the SmackDown women's team will win.
That's making me wonder that as well. I think one of my favorite spots of this whole thing, and there needs to be memes made out, but when Nia Jax hits the barricade, that barricade is just destroyed. There needs to be memes of rest in peace barricade, because that barricade was not just leveled, it was demolished, and well done. It was a great spot, funny spot, wonderful spot.
Yeah, she sold going limp really well too. When Nia went through that, she just was like just stop moving. But yeah, I thought that was cool. Like Becky Lynch just did this like Tom Cruise Mission Impossible 2, like roll away, and then Nia Jax just destroyed the barricade. Like look at Roman Reigns has speared a lot of people through the barricade really well, and I know Batista's done that a couple times that I can remember. I don't think I've ever seen the barricade get absolutely demolished.
No, not like that.
Like, that's one strong woman to do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. And she didn't have somebody else. You know, it was all by herself.
her.
Like, she didn't have somebody to help, for their weight to break it also, or to,
She took that whole thing. It was really fun to watch. But yeah, and then at the end of everything, the SmackDown Live team stood in the ring victorious and chased off what looked like every one of the members of the Raw team looked like heels.
Mm.
Every one of them looked like heels. I know that it was Raw invading SmackDown, and I get that. But like,
Yeah, they were all attacking Nikki.
Yeah,
so.
Bayley was attacking. I mean, everybody was attacking Nikki, and I understand that. If you didn't like Nikki, okay, fine. But everybody, like even the faces, were attacking.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's.
See, I thought like Sasha and Charlotte Sasha and Bayley should have just been standing there.
Yeah.
Not doing it, and then when Carmella came in, they attacked Carmella.
Yeah, that would have made more sense.
That would have made sense. Because they're like, what? Nikki? She never did anything to me. I know this is Raw versus SmackDown, but still. And then Carmella comes in and starts yelling, and then like Bayley and Sasha just give each other a look, and then just like clothesline her or something, That would have made more sense, because yeah, it did. It made Team Raw, all the women on Team Raw look like heels. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So we moved from that to the final thing, the cutting edge.
Mm.
Because we're not going to talk about the Kalisto match.
Nope, match was garbage.
However, only I always forget his name.
It was pretty.
Oni Larkin.
Pretty boring.
But Oni did good.
For a jobber, he was like, yeah.
For an NXT
very
talent.
Good.
Yeah, I thought he did good. I think he's under or overlooked a lot. But anyway, we're not going to go into that because that was a crap match. Cutting edge. At the end, you go ahead and talk about it, because I think he is overrated.
You watch your mouth.
Cutting edge. What did you think about?
I thought it was great. I love to see Edge back home on SmackDown.
Looking like a grizzly man.
Looking like Thor, and yeah, I was just like, because I've never seen him with a beard that big before. Like I've seen him with some scruff, but I've never seen him he pulled it off. He pulled off the beard.
Yeah.
He totally did. And yeah, I'm glad that he grew out his long hair for this that was cool. And but yeah, totally Leo DiCaprio and Revenant kind of look with
exactly
that.
Like that.
But yeah, it was cool to see him back, bring back the cutting edge, and to hear his theme. That was awesome. Even though I hate Alter Bridge, that's a good theme. And yeah, I was marking out like crazy just because I've always loved Edge, and I thought this was really cool. And so yeah, he brought out the 5 guys for the
5+ Ellsworth.
Oh yeah, Ellsworth the mascot, yeah, and brought out the 5 SmackDown team members and the mascot, and yeah, I thought this was cool. I loved that he's just like you think he's gonna shake AJ Styles' hand. He's like, I need to shake the hand of the guy who I forgot exactly what he said. Something to the effect of the best person in the ring, or the guy who owes SmackDown. Or, the guy who SmackDown knows everything to, and then he just walks up and shakes Ellsworth's hand. That was great. And then, talks to Orton a little bit, because they were in Rated RKO as a tag team for a while. And so he's talking about him joining.
Dude, are you there?
Yeah, dude, are you there? Yeah, that was funny. And, yeah, it was really cool, man. And then, AJ kind of got mad at him and started getting in his face and stuff. And
yeah,
it was really cool.
So it was some good promos. My favorite thing, one of my favorite things about this was when Ellsworth is like, can we get a 5-second pose? Yeah. And they tried to do it, but it ended up on Talking Smack. They actually did 2.
I saw that. That was cool.
5-second poses.
5-second pose. Yeah, it was awesome.
And he goes, and AJ's like, no, you're not gonna do it. It was stupid now. It was stupid then. It was stupid now.
Yeah.
And so AJ plays a great heel with that. The whole braid and Orton stuff was really fun. Let's see. Shane O'Mackdown.
Yeah, Shane O'Mac, that was funny.
It was funny, but I shook my head and was like, I've got to laugh at that because it was funny, but I don't want to because it was so bad. But it was so funny at the same time.
Yeah, it's pun for the whole family.
But then it's pun for the whole family. And then AJ's like, that sounds stupid.
That was funny too, just quickly. Shane O'Mackdown? That sounds stupid.
Exactly.
He's great, man. He's great.
And then he goes into how Dean's a hothead,
Yeah.
and Dean's like, hothead, bonehead.
Yeah.
That whole thing.
I'm cool, brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm cool as a cucumber, brother.
Yeah.
You bone, whatever he says.
Yeah.
And so there's some at odds stuff there, and so it's like, okay, they start getting into a fight, and what happens, Caleb?
Dong. I can't do it, but yeah, it's the Undertaker's bell, and then Undertaker comes out to the ring.
Huge pop.
Yeah, just huge. And they had several vignettes earlier in the show that I thought were great, where
Yep.
it would just fade in all of a sudden to someplace backstage, and it had a purple tint to it, and you heard the Undertaker's theme played very, very softly, and you saw some smoke and stuff, and it focuses in on his hat, and then you see his hand grab his hat, and then there's another one where you see his shadow on the wall, and he's walking towards, like, both of those segments, those just short little vignettes, they're only like 10, 20 seconds. They're done really, really well. Just really, really well. And then he came out, great Undertaker. I've never been a huge, huge fan. I've never disliked him by any means,
Right.
but
Agreed.
I've just always had other wrestlers that I liked way more. But his gimmick, though, his character is so iconic and so well done, and he does a great job of it. And like, he just has such an intimidating presence about him that he comes out, you're just like, ooh.
Yes.
And he, just came down, his entrance, just good as always, and came into the ring, and everybody was just going nuts.
Yep.
Just absolutely going nuts. It was cool to see him come back to SmackDown. I think it was, like they said, like the first time in 3.5 years he was on SmackDown, because every time he came back it had been on Raw.
Yeah. Well, and then, his entrance was really cool with the new, the new system and stuff that they have is really fun to watch that. And then he gets into the ring and he goes straight to Shane and just stares at Shane. It's like, this looks like it's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And that whole stare, and he gets a mic and he goes over and he says, there's no better man to be the commissioner than a man without fear. And it's like,
And then he tips his hat.
yeah, it's like, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That was really, really cool to see that happen. And then Undertaker says, he's like, I've come back for 2 reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And these are 2 very interesting reasons. And they're very cryptic because I don't know what he means. He says the first thing he wants to do is, the reason why he came back is because WrestleMania will no longer define who I am. I'm here to take souls and dig holes.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that means? I mean, WrestleMania is not going to define me. I'm here to basically destroy people. What do you think that means?
I don't know, but I'm
Okay.
intrigued. I'm beyond intrigued to find out what it is.
Like, is he going to be wrestling full time, or is
Yeah,
he,
it sounds like maybe because he's like, hey, I'm 51, I'm, getting older and stuff like that, just when you get older, you just start to kind of fall apart. So maybe he's like, I don't want to come back for just one match at WrestleMania, and then that's it. Maybe I should come back for a good long extended run. So hopefully that means that he's going to be on SmackDown, every week, or at least every other week or something. He's going to be on it regularly until WrestleMania, because everybody's speculating that that'll be his last match, will be at this year's WrestleMania.
But him saying WrestleMania will not define me,
Mm-hmm.
and him having WrestleMania be his last match, that doesn't make sense to me.
That's
Say
a good
WrestleMania isn't
point.
going to define me. Like, is he going to be here for a long stint at a time? What is his role going to be? Is he going to be kind of like an enforcer of rules type thing? I'm gonna, because he basically tells the people, or tells the team, if you don't, but if you fail, you will have reason to fear the dead man. It's like, what does that mean? I mean, that's the second reason he says. He says there's no reason to fear failure, but if you fail, know that you got to fear the dead man.
Yeah.
That's cryptic. I mean, that's crazy. And I'm assuming they brought him in because they want to boost SmackDown ratings.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah, why else would they have Edge and Undertaker back? Yeah.
But if Undertaker's saying, "Hey, I'm here," what is his role going to be? And I got no idea.
I got no idea either. All we have is, hearsay. All we have is what we think it could mean. Like, we don't know, but when we find out, I'm sure it'll be something cool. I'm sure it'll be. But yeah, I thought that it was great. the crowd was a little annoying chanting "You still got it," and so, which is cool. They're showing respect, but it's like he's in the middle of doing a promo.
Yeah.
You know, maybe wait till he's done. But yeah, I love that he was like, uh, he goes, "Team Raw will rest in peace," and then he closed out, and then he did his, kill gesture. I thought that was good. He did a great job on here, and I can't wait to find out what his comments mean. I don't know, maybe whoever like gets pinned last, he will go after them,
Maybe.
or something. Maybe that'll be a big feud or something. But yeah, don't know.
We look forward to more SmackDowns. I look forward to SmackDown every week because it is a quality show in my opinion. But now we have I'm assuming Edge isn't going to be around for much unless they do a cutting edge every once in a while.
Yeah.
But now the Undertaker pretty much said, I'm back to.
Yeah, it sounds like he's going to be back in some capacity on a regular basis. So yeah.
All right. Well, SmackDown Live out of 5. Broken Skull? I always get that wrong.
Yeah, Broken Skull IPAs.
What would you say that it had?
I would say I'd give this a 4 also, man. Definitely. Part of me wants to give it a 4.5 just because SmackDown is always better than Raw, seemingly. And just because they just have just whatever it is, they're just better, man. And but I'd give it a 4 just because the stuff that was great about it was really, really good, and it was just another really good edition of SmackDown.
I agree. I give it a 4 as well. It was definitely 4.1. It was definitely better than Raw.
It was better,
but Raw was really a solid show, and so I can't take anything away from Raw. I really can't take anything away from SmackDown outside of the Kalisto match. But it was a solid show. So a 4.1 for me.
All right, cool. Well, that was Raw and SmackDown, and with that, we go to Survivor Series.
Survivor Series 2016. I have the card before me, and it's on Wikipedia, so if you want to look it up, we're gonna go backwards from what Wikipedia has. And so the first match we're gonna start with to talk about is the Miz, the new Intercontinental Champion, with Maurice and versus Sami Zayn. What are your thoughts of this match, and what do you think the outcome is going to
be? When I thought that it was going to be Dolph Ziggler versus Sami Zayn, I thought Dolph would keep it. But now, seeing as they want Sami Zayn to, they want to push him, they want to give him a title because he deserves it. And like I was saying earlier, Dolph doesn't really need a title because he is Shawn Michaels at this point. He is so over with the crowd. People love him. He doesn't need one.
Yep.
But like I already said, him and AJ Styles main event WrestleMania 33 for the WWE title. Yeah, I think Sami Zayn is going to win. I feel like they were like, we don't want people to have to pick between Sami Zayn and Dolph Ziggler because people love both of them. So I feel like they're making it a clear-cut bad guy and a clear-cut good guy. Hey, Sami Zayn underdog from the other ground, and Miz the A-lister, the jerk heel, like. So it makes sense to me now. Like, I still hate to see Dolph lose it, but it makes sense to me now. It's like, hey, if Sami Zayn gets the Intercontinental title because of this, I'm okay with that because, so that's what I think. I think Sami Zayn will win. I think it'll be a really good match because, the people boo Miz because he's a heel, obviously, but like he's a really good wrestler, and Sami Zayn he's Sami Zayn. So yeah, I think Sami Zayn will win it, and
who do you want to win it?
Who do I want to win out of the two? I want Sami Zayn to win out of those two.
So you want and think that Sami Zayn will win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I think the same thing. I think Sami Zayn is going to beat The Miz, and I think it has 2 stories here, or possibly 3, for 3 reasons. One, if The Miz loses, because in his match, in the Intercontinental Championship match on SmackDown, he taunts Daniel Bryan.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is perfect fodder for Daniel Bryan to be on The Miz's case, to lose the Intercontinental Championship. What other storyline could you make up other than that?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's going to cause that rivalry to continue and to worsen. I don't know where it's going to lead from there, so I think that. I also think that Raw needs another title because I think what's going to happen is the cruiserweights. Kalisto is going to win the cruiserweight championship, and it's all going to go to SmackDown because I think one, SmackDown needs the cruiserweight championship, and I think Raw needs the Intercontinental championship. Why? Because Raw is 3 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody cares about the cruiserweight championship.
Yeah.
But they do care about Intercontinental Championship and Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
And they have so many other wrestlers that could go for the Intercontinental Championship that could wrestle for the Intercontinental Championship. That's hard to think. That I think that would make sense that that Zayn would win to not only put him over but also to bring the Intercontinental Championship to Raw because it's a 3-hour show and they need something to fill it.
Mm-hmm.
They can have each hour can be 1 hour can be on the U.S. and Intercontinental, 1 hour can be towards the tag team stuff and 1 hour can be about the heavyweight championship. It just makes sense for me.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense to me too. I feel like they should do a switcheroo here. I feel like the Intercontinental should go to to Raw, and the cruiserweight should come to SmackDown. Just because they really rolled the gutter ball on as soon as the CWC was over, and they brought the cruiserweights to Raw, they just been rolling gutter balls.
Yep.
They finally did something right with giving the title to Kendrick.
With somebody with more personality.
Mm-hmm. And no, it's like I like TJ Perkins. He's a good wrestler, but he's just not the champion. He should not be the first new Intercontinental champion. You know, he should be the like we talked about before in one of the shows. He should be the underdog who's always striving to get it, but always comes up short. And then when he finally does win it, it makes it all the more sweeter.
I agree.
You know,
because that's a story. That's what he keeps
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
I'm an underdog.
He's the underdog his whole life and stuff. And he was on Talk is Jericho several weeks ago. It was a great episode. That made me like him a lot more, like hearing him talk. And so you should give that a listen too. It's really, really good. And it's also cool just to hear him talk about all the, because he's been wrestling since he was like 14 or something.
Wow.
I know, crazy.
He looks 14.
He does look 14. He's like 32 though. It's ridiculous.
He doesn't look 32.
I know.
Holy cow! I don't know he was that old.
But so yeah, I feel like the cruiserweights could flourish on SmackDown. I feel like Sami Zayn as IC champion would do great on Raw. So yeah,
agreed.
Totally.
And so I think Sami Zayn will win. I believe he deserves to win, and I want him to win. And so yeah, I think Sami Zayn wins because of all the things we had said. And so the next match on the card, going backwards, is the Brian Kendrick, which I still love,
I know.
versus Kalisto. Now, I don't want Kalisto to win because I don't necessarily like Kalisto. However, because of all the previous things I have said, Kalisto has to win to bring the Cruiserweight Championship over, which will also bring all of those guys over.
Mm-hmm.
If that doesn't happen, if the Cruiserweight Championship does not change hands, I don't believe the Intercontinental Championship will change hands, but I do believe that this would set up for a Cruiserweight Championship for SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
So either they're going to switch it, or they're going to add a Cruiserweight Championship.
Okay, interesting.
To SmackDown. I think they switch it because it makes more sense.
I think Kalisto will win. Like if they do this double switch,
Mm-hmm.
I think Kalisto, because does it say, because he just has to win the match. He doesn't have to win the championship, does he?
Let's see, singles match for the WWE. If Kalisto wins the title and well, it just says if he wins the title in the Cruiserweight division, so he could win.
He could win by DQ.
That's true.
You know, because Kalisto's not a bad wrestler. I just don't think he should be
sneaky WWE.
I feel like they could do a thing where Brian Kendrick is just like, you know what, Raw sucks.
That would be an awesome. That's total heel right there.
It is. So I feel like, you know, he hits Kalisto with a chair or something. So he keeps the title. He loses the match. The Cruiserweights go to SmackDown, and he looks like a heel. So I think that would be perfect for them to do.
Heel.
Because I feel like he should be the Cruiserweight champion for a while. I
agree.
I don't feel like anybody else should be for a while. I feel like it should be, you know, Rich Swann, Cedric Alexander, or maybe even TJ Perkins if he gets a little more over. Who knows? You know, it should be somebody, who dethrones him. It shouldn't it shouldn't be Kalisto. I just feel like it shouldn't be Diet Pepsi Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, but yeah, I
That's
could
a good
totally.
point.
I had that thought last night. I was like, wait a minute, he just has to win the match. He doesn't have to win the title. Kendrick could just be like, you know what, Raw sucks. I want to go to SmackDown. Boom, Kalisto wins via DQ. Cruiserweights go to SmackDown. So
And because they're also having the other cruiserweight show on after SmackDown on the
oh yeah, 205 Live. Or
205 Live, yeah, because of the weight, the highest weight you can be in the class is stupid. Anyway, it's going to be a great show. It'll give those guys a place to wrestle because they shined in the CWC. Why? Because Vince isn't in control of it.
Yeah.
Per se, Triple H had all of the say in everything and allowed them to do a lot more. I think that's part of the reason why Cruiserweight isn't getting over is because they're not allowed to do the cool stuff that they were able to do in CWC.
Mm-hmm.
And so this 205 Live will showcase that. It'll give a place for up and coming cruiserweights to have a place to be instead of just on NXT because NXT is getting ready to be packed with talent anyway. So yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. You think Kalisto will win, but by DQ?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So also real quick, NXT Takeover Toronto
It's going to be awesome.
is going to be awesome. I'm actually going to be watching. I don't know if I'm going to watch all of it, but I am definitely going to watch Shinsuke versus Samoa Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely watching that.
You also need to watch the Revival versus DIY, which is Gargano and
oh yeah, and
Ciampa.
Yeah.
That match, their match at Brooklyn 2 was amazing. And this match is going to be even more so. And I hope the Revival loses because I think the Revival will come up to Raw, or they should be on Raw because they're talented enough to be on Raw. I don't like them, but they're talented enough to be on Raw. I think they're going to get ready to come up, and I think DIY, which I actually like that name more and more I think about it, will win, I think.
So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that real quick because I'm actually really excited for that. I really want to see Shinsuke and Samoa Joe. I think Samoa Joe, it seems like is getting ready to come up. So hopefully.
I think the loser of that match will come up.
Really?
Yep.
Cool.
So that's a great plug for NXT Takeover Toronto. It will be the whole card's going to be good. Bobby Roode versus the Perfect 10. I think the winner. I think the Perfect 10 is going to come up too. I think he's going to be. He'll probably go to Raw to be in the Intercontinental Championship setting and stuff like that too. I love that guy. The guy's awesome. Anyway, so we'll keep on going. And now going backwards still, we have the tag teams from Raw versus the tag teams from SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is going to win, and your take on everything there?
I don't know. I just hope this match doesn't seem too busy. Like, I hope it doesn't seem too clustered and stuff. Most of all, I just hope it's fun. I really don't think it matters who wins, to be honest with you, and I really don't have a preference who wins. I just hope it's really good. I hope it's a lot of fun. I hope that they have fun doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see Heath Slater and Rhino be the last tag team standing. I think that would be really cool because people just love them, and so do we. You and I both are big fans of the Beauty and the Man Beast, as they're being called, which I think is a cool, fun nickname for their tag team. Sorry, I had a frog in my throat. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yep, I agree. I don't want to say any more about it because I'm not really hyped about it.
No, I'm not that hyped about it either.
So
Which is funny because the hype bros are in it.
Yeah, weird. They didn't hype us. You ain't hype. You ain't. You're right.
You ain't hype. They ain't hype.
So then we have the female, the women's division, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown Live. I don't know who's going to win. I think SmackDown Live should win. They have the better wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know who's going to win. Who do you think is going to win? Who do you think is going to win? And who do you want to win?
I want SmackDown to win because, like I've said several times, like the women's division there, I care more about, and honestly, the women's division is just better there.
Mm-hmm.
Becky Lynch and has been one of my favorites, and Alexa Bliss, she's becoming one of my favorites. She's really, really good. Natalia, like we were saying earlier, she's been fun lately, and Nikki Bella has been really surprising me. Carmella has been surprising me. I didn't, because I didn't know what NXT didn't know about her, and I was just like, oh, she's just, Jersey type, caricature. That's kind of annoying and stuff. But she makes it work, and she's much better as a heel, and she makes it work, and she's actually really good in the ring, and she's been doing a lot better. So yeah, I think that the SmackDown women's team is better, and I feel like they should win. I think that they might. I really think they might. I would hate for this to be a clean sweep of Raw. I just feel like that would just be terrible for business.
Yep.
Like I honestly feel like SmackDown should win 2 of them.
I agree with that.
So yeah, I don't think it should be a clean sweep for either. I feel like SmackDown should win 2 of them, and I feel like the women's is if there's only one that SmackDown absolutely, I feel like it's like, oh yeah, SmackDown's gonna win 2, but they need, I feel like this is one of those 2 that they should.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one they should and they will, and I think also SmackDown's going to win the tag team one, and so because the first match on not the first match on the card, but the first Survivor Series match, the men's match, Team Raw versus Team SmackDown, I feel like the big money in the company is on the Team Raw, and so I think they're going to win. And so transition from the women's, I think you're right. I absolutely agree with you. But into Team Raw, individual, the male bracket versus Team SmackDown, I believe Raw will win. Would rather have SmackDown win, but to be honest with you, everyone on that is over, and they don't need to.
Yeah.
But the same can be said on the other side too. Every one of those guys are over, but I think Raw needs this more than they need the women's and tag team.
I'm really interested to find out who the sole survivor is going to be for each of these matches.
Or how they're going to divide up. Is it going to be 4 against 1? I don't know.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if for the men's match they had Roman being the sole survivor because he was the sole survivor in Survivor Series in 2013, and which was a really good match. You should check that one out. It was really cool. It was he was like the last one, and it was 3 against 1, and he ended up winning and stuff. It was really cool. It was the way they did it was nice. The finish of it was really cool. So I could see them doing that. I could also see Rollins being the last man, or if they want to push Braun to make him look monstrous, I could see it being him. But yeah, I feel like Team SmackDown doesn't need it. If they did, that'd be cool. But this is the one where I'm like, I just feel like this match is going to be awesome. So whoever wins, I'll be cool with. But yeah, I feel like this should be the one that SmackDown wins and or loses. This should be the one that Raw wins, and then SmackDown should win the other 2.
I agree.
So yeah, but yeah, those 2, the women's one and then the men's one, those are the ones I'm looking forward to. The tag team one, yeah, I'm just kind of towards, but those 2, totally hyped.
Yep, I agree. And so we come to the marquee match. I don't know if it's going to be the main event. I don't know what's going to be the main event.
Yeah.
I don't think we know yet.
Yeah, I could see this being the main event.
Quite possible.
Because they're on the poster, so.
Brock Lesnar, that's true. Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. Your thoughts and what you want, who you want to win, who you think is going to win.
Yeah, I'm super excited for this. Like you and I talked about earlier, we hope it's a good match. We hope it's not just Brock Lesnar suplexing Goldberg all the time because if you go back and watch Brock Lesnar's run from 2002 to 2004, when he was first with WWE, he was good. He was really good. He did do suplexes, but he didn't do them that often. And he did other stuff too. Like I watched the match this morning. It was, last Sunday was the 11th anniversary of losing Eddie Guerrero, and so I went back and been watching a bunch of his matches over the past week. And I saw it was No Way Out 2004, and it was Eddie Guerrero versus Brock Lesnar, and it was a great match. Both these guys did awesome. And, I was just like, man, Brock Lesnar used to be a really good wrestler before he was just like, I mean, I don't know where this sense of like, oh yeah, he's just a big unstoppable monster, so he just suplexes all the time. It's like, have him do other stuff. Have him go back on the WWE Network and watch his own matches from 2002, 3, and 4, and to remember how to wrestle because he's just boring now. Like he's boring. like it's not fun to watch Brock Lesnar
No.
anymore. You know, I mean, seeing him do a shooting star press and royally botching it against Kurt Angle, like, yeah, he almost died, but it was fun. It was entertaining, you know, and then he finished the match, did an F5 and won, you know. I mean, it's just boring to see him do 10 German suplexes, you know, make a funny face, and then do an F5 to win. You know, I mean, it's stupid. Like, oh yeah, Randy Orton does 3 RKOs, and then he kicks out of them, and then 1 F5, and Randy Orton's done. You know, it's stupid. You know, this new Brock Lesnar. So I think that, you know, this will be a good, like you said, I hope they were like, all right, what are we going to do in the match? This is what we need to do. This is what we should do. Like, you know, I hope that they kind of plan some stuff out, and I hope that they don't just do a dumb squash match. And I think, honestly, I don't think they would bring Goldberg back just to lose to Brock Lesnar.
I would hope not.
Like,
Unless
I would really hope not.
the only way I could see him losing is if they, since it would be basically one to one,
Mm-hmm.
they bring him back, you know, at WrestleMania or whichever one. Oh, I guess Royal Rumble. Bring him back at Royal Rumble for the go home match. You know, and then Goldberg wins that. I could see if Goldberg loses, I could see him get all upset and say, no, I need, or especially if Paul Heyman gets involved.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can see that kind of have been setting up. You know, it's been Goldberg versus Paul Heyman for several weeks, and then Monday night was Brock Lesnar, and so I could see that happening. But who do you think's going to win?
Well, obviously I want Goldberg to win because I've always been a huge fan of Goldberg, and Brock Lesnar sucks right now. I really want Goldberg to win, and I honestly think that he will. You know, I could be totally wrong. I totally could be wrong. You know, I mean, they could be setting. You know, this could be just to make, you know, but you know, try to make Brock look, you know, like a big
bully,
big monster to, you know, push somebody else against him or something like that, or, you know, I don't know what exactly it is, but you know, I want Goldberg to win, and I honestly think he will. Like, I just feel like, you know, I feel like it's just the right call for the way that Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar have been acting like such jerks and being the real big heels, and then Goldberg has this, you know, big glorious comeback and stuff, and you know, like he says, you know, you're last. And so, yeah, that's how I feel. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I hope he wins. I think he's going to win. I did read an article, or not read an article. I read like a list of 5 things that needs to happen at Survivor Series, and one of them is Brock wins. I hate that list because it doesn't make any sense. I hate that part of the list, and so I think Goldberg will win. I think he has to win, especially if he's not going to come back and do any more matches. However, if they bring him back to do matches, I can see him losing again. I can see him losing here and then winning at Royal Rumble, and then at WrestleMania he's inducted into the Hall of Fame. And so I can see that happening. But you're right. He did say I do have one left, but he also gave one to Paul and he gave one to Rusev. So we'll see what happens. I'm interested in this match. I know you're interested in this match. I hope they have worked it out, and so we will see. And so we don't really know what the main event is. They are on the picture, so it's quite possible that it'll be Lesnar Goldberg. There's really not another match on here that's like, here's the main event. But I could see them going on first. We'll see what happens. Any other thought about Survivor Series that you want to talk about?
No, I think we've got it covered. You know, I mean, like we were talking about before we started, like they may add just some match for the pre-show, or maybe maybe the cruiserweight will be on the pre-show or something. You know, who knows what's gonna happen? You know, because they could just add some random match or whatever. But yeah, that's Survivor Series. Can't wait to see that on Sunday. I'm really, really excited. Got you and our buddy Chris coming over, so that'll be fun to kick back and watch Survivor Series. It'll be really awesome.
Cool.
And with that, let us go now forth onto the top 10 list.
Do we have time to do that?
We have plenty of time to do that.
Right on. Time to do that. So how do you want to start? What do you want to do?
I could start. I could start. I just figured, we have our top 10 dream matches of all time. Any wrestler from any era in any kind of match we want. anything goes pretty much. Singles, tag teams, female wrestlers, anything. We have all kinds of stuff. I tweaked mine a little bit last night. I cannot wait to get this going. I'll go first this time because the last top 10 less we did, you went first, so I will go first this time, and you can be the one to close it out. So, all right, yeah, we probably won't go into too much in depth with these because we don't really need to because I mean they didn't happen, so it's but
starting with 10.
Yeah, starting with 10. So number 10, I have Roman Reigns versus Hulk Hogan. I don't know why, but for some reason this popped into my head. I was just like, I want to see that for some reason, man. Like, I think that'd be interesting. So, I would want Roman Reigns as he is now, the singles competitor, the big dog Roman Reigns going up against I don't know if I would say like late 80s, maybe early 90s, maybe like versus Ultimate Warrior 1990 Hulk Hogan or something like that, maybe. But yeah, mainly I want this just because I want to see Roman Reigns beat up Hulk Hogan, but that's why I would pick it. But yeah, and it'd probably just be a regular standard singles match. So yeah, that's what I have at number 10, the Big Dog versus Hulkamania.
Sweet. My number 10 is, and I just added to it because you said any type of match, and I don't have any other type of match except for this one because I think it would be awesome. Diamond Dallas Page versus Raven, which they did a lot, versus Dean Ambrose in a hardcore match.
Nice.
I think that would be a great match. All three characters I really enjoy, and all three characters kind of similar, and so I would really enjoy watching these guys just pound each other and just beat each other up and go outside and just it'd be a great match. So that's my number 10.
Cool. Yeah, I almost put Dean Ambrose versus Cactus Jack in a hardcore match on here, but I was like, everybody would say that. Like that's one everybody. Like on WWE, they've talked about a lot, like just, about that, and stuff. And so I was just like, yeah, I'll do something different and stuff. I won't do that, but yeah, that triple threat hardcore between those three, that'd be awesome.
Cool match.
My number 9, a match I've always wanted but never got. I always wanted to see Batista versus Brock Lesnar. Nobody was hotter than these two guys. Nobody was bigger than these two guys. I mean, you got Brock Lesnar, 6'3", 290. Batista, who is, 6'6", 305, like just big monsters. And this would probably be like an Extreme Rules match or something. Like, yeah, I think that'd be cool just to see these two just huge dudes just like beating the crap out of each other. And I would have Batista go over after a Batista bomb on the steel steps.
Nice. My number 9 is tag team match. It's the Rockers versus Enzo and Cass.
Nice.
I think that would be a fun match. They're very relatively similar in some aspects. At least Enzo is with the Rockers. I just think it'd be a good, fun, classic, old school match because I think Enzo and Cass are very old school. When you watch them, they're very textbook wrestlers who wrestle the old school tag team style. And so I thought that would be a really cool match to see.
Totally. Wow. Yeah, I want that now. That'd be sweet. So that was your number 9?
Yep, number 9.
My number 8. This one I think would be amazing. I wish that I could make it happen. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Macho Man Randy Savage.
That'd be fun.
I think this would be awesome. Like, because anybody who's seen any match with Shinsuke and any good match with Macho Man, like, I feel like these guys would put on a great show. Like, I just feel like this would be awesome. It'd probably just be standard match, but
sure.
Oh, like I was just thinking about like, oh man, Shinsuke versus Macho. Oh man, I want that. Like that would be so cool. So
that would be fun to watch.
That would be my number 8 because these two guys just so much charisma, so good, and I think they'd bring the house down.
Cool. My number 8, a person that the WWE doesn't really want you to mention, Chris Benoit versus Roman Reigns.
You mean Crispin Waugh?
Yeah, Crispin Waugh. Chris Benoit versus Roman Reigns.
Interesting.
I don't know why. I just thought I was like I really enjoyed Chris when he was at his height of his really good career has really good matches. And then Roman Reigns right now, I think it would be a fun match, be an interesting match. Maybe not really quite like the AJ Styles match, but a little bit more intense, a little bit more hard hitting and such. So that's my number 8 is Chris Benoit versus Roman Reigns.
Cool. At number 7, I have a match that I think would be really awesome. I have the Architect, Seth Rollins, versus the Rated R Superstar Edge. So I think Edge and Seth Rollins, I think that would be a really good one. I think that, I just think these two guys, their characters are kind of similar, and they're both really, really good heels, and they're both great in the ring. And so yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun. Edge versus Seth Rollins. That's what I would. That's my number 7. That's what I would love to see.
It's really funny because Seth Rollins is also in my number 7 match.
Oh really?
But against Billy Kidman.
Ooh.
I love Billy Kidman. I wish he got pushed more. I'm glad he has a job in the WWE. It was nice to see that the other day when I saw his picture. I can't remember who he was with, but I was like, yeah, he's a producer or something like that at WWE. But I would love to see that. I think they're relatively similar in a lot of ways. I just thought it was fun. I love Billy Kidman, and I'm beginning to like Seth a lot more. So I thought that would be a fun match.
Cool. And for number 6, I have a match that, for whatever reason, I just always thought would be really cool, and it's one that we never would have got to see because their career paths didn't line up. There's just the slightest of distance between their careers. I always wanted to see The Rock versus Andre the Giant.
Oh wow.
I don't know why. I just feel like that would be just because Big Show and Rock always had good ones, and I just feel like with The Rock being the showman and the performer that he is, and Andre being the legend that he is, and the performer that he was, and I would want Andre like in the late 70s or early 80s before all the injuries, like when he was a lot more agile, could do some more crazy stuff, like I think that would be really cool. That would be like Vince McMahon's wet dream, is The Rock versus versus the peak level Andre the Giant. So yeah, I think that one would be a lot of fun. That's my number 6.
Cool. My number 6 is Dolph Ziggler versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Nice.
I think both of these guys have a lot in common, and both of these guys would make a great Intercontinental Championship match. Both underrated, both on a similar kind of wrestling path, and so I thought that would be a good match to have an IC title.
Yeah, that would be rad. I would love to see that. And now, top 5. Coming in at number 5, I have 2 of my all-time favorite wrestlers in a match. I think this would be an awesome match. Both of these superstars were overshadowed. One by his brother, one by his friend. I want Randy Orton versus Owen Hart.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be awesome. Randy Orton always overshadowed by his friend John Cena, and Owen always overshadowed by his brother Brett. I think that these two guys I think they'd have an awesome match, because Owen Hart was one of the most overrated and greatest wrestlers. Or underrated.
Underrated.
Rather. He was severely underrated. He was
severely underrated.
One of the greatest of all time, and just one of the most underrated. Like, he was great, and I feel like, I don't know why, but for some reason this just really appealed to me. When I was thinking, I was like, man, Owen Hart. For some reason, I think him and Randy Orton would just be awesome, man. I would not want Randy Orton now. I would want the 2004-5 legend killer, cocky Randy Orton, versus like 1992 heel Owen Hart. That's what I would want. And this, I think I would want something kind of fun. So I think this would probably. I think I'd want this to be like a ladder match. I think a ladder match between these two guys. So that's my number 5. That's one that I think would be totally awesome. I wish that we could see.
Cool. My number 5 is a women's match. I have always loved Medusa, or Alundra Blaze in WWE. I think she actually might go down as the greatest women's wrestler of all time. just watching some of her stuff from the '90s. She's amazing. And I know that people don't like the what was it, uncensored pay-per-view in '96, but and people definitely don't like the Alundra Blade, or sorry, Medusa at the time versus Colonel Parker match, and I understand that, but when you look at it and see how she controlled the ring when she did, she could wrestle anybody. I think she could wrestle any of the guys now. I think Sami Zayn and Medusa would be an awesome match. I think she could have. And so, anyway, enough hyping her. Medusa versus Charlotte. Charlotte is going to go down as the second, in my book, the second greatest women's wrestler of all time. She, in the ring, she is better than her dad. And I hate to say that, I've said it before, but she is way better than her dad in the ring. Her shooting star press is the greatest, or moonsault. Her moonsault is the greatest moonsault you'll ever see. She's just amazing, and I think both of them in a ring together would be an awesome match.
I think that sounds awesome. Sweet. For number 4, I have Sami Zayn versus Ricky Steamboat.
That would be good. That would be a good match too.
I was just thinking like, man, Ricky Steamboat versus AJ Styles, that'd be cool. But no, I want Ricky Steamboat versus Sami Zayn. That's what I want. I almost put Ric Flair versus Dolph Ziggler here, but then I was just like, that would be a great match. But I mean, Sami Zayn versus Rick, two high flying, like guys
but still grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I can't even say enough as to how awesome I think we can imagine this match would be.
I agree.
Like, I think it'd be awesome. Just Sami Zayn versus, and I talked about how AJ and Sammy both kind of remind me a little bit of Ricky Steamboat, just in their the way that they're both proficient in being like, they can be high flying, they can be hard hitting, and they're both really good technical wrestlers. So, so yeah, but I was just thinking like, who would be better, AJ Styles or him, and I was like, I think it's him and Sammy. I think that would be, because I wanted to put AJ in another one.
Yep.
So I didn't want to have a bunch of, because I could have easily just said AJ versus AJ versus AJ versus AJ versus.
That's true. I could have done.
I easily could have done that, but yeah, I thought Sami Zayn versus Ricky Steamboat. That's my number 4.
Right on. My number 4 is the Hart Foundation versus Steiners.
Cool.
I don't know that they ever wrestled together. They were around the same time, but I thought that would be a great match. And going back through the '96 Monday Night Wars and seeing Steiners come back in '96 just makes me realize how great of a team they were. Rick was very underrated in his in-ring work, and I'm sorry that they eventually broke up, but I think that would have been a fun match to watch. A good, nice 80s, 90s match would have been fun.
Cool. It's funny because I actually have a tag team match here.
Oh, really?
Next, yeah. My number 3, in a TLC match, I have the Hardy Boys versus the Shield.
Oh, that'd be rad.
Yeah, I don't need to say anymore, because it's the Shield versus the Hardy Boys in a TLC match. That's what I want. I want that more than anything.
Right on.
Like,
but it's not your number 1, so you don't
it's
want
not. It's not.
One.
Okay, it's the tag team match I want more.
Okay, fair enough.
Semantics, shut up. But yeah, I just think that'd be cool. Like, I can, Roman spearing Matt through the barricade, and Jeff doing senton off the off the ladder onto Seth or whatever. Like, I think it would just be awesome.
Okay.
I think it'd be really cool.
Well, my number 3 is I don't like Brock Lesnar, but when I think Brock Lesnar and anybody else who I'd want to see in a ring, I want to see him versus Scott Steiner.
Ooh.
Scott Steiner, once he comes back from whatever in '96, he is huge. Even in '96, pre Big Papa Pump, he is huge, and so I would want that era of Scott Steiner versus the biggest Brock Lesnar has ever been. It would be suplex versus suplex, both of them. I got online and typed in, since he's the ninth mayor of Suplex City, I typed in and somebody came up with a bunch of
The
names.
list.
And they have Scott Steiner as, I think, 5th or 4th or something like that on the list of suplexes, because that's what he would do. And I feel like Scott Steiner had the better of the two looking suplexes. But still, both of them at their height, big guys wrestling. I think that would have been a fun match to watch.
Cool.
So you're number 2.
My number 2 is a match that we actually almost saw twice. We almost saw it in 2006 and we almost saw it in 2011, which is Sting versus The Undertaker. This would be a Hell in a Cell WrestleMania main event for me. Like, that's what I want. Yeah, a lot of people know who are, big wrestling nerds know a lot. Like, in 2006, Sting almost signed with WWE where he would have faced Undertaker. And then in 2011, they contacted him again to come in and have a big feud with The Undertaker, in which he actually would have broken the streak in 2011. So that would have been really cool to see. Like, I feel like that would have been so cool to see Sting and Undertaker. But yeah, two guys who are kind of, you have the the dark and evil Undertaker, and then you've got the dark Avenger and Sting, and it's one everybody wants. It's one everybody's always wanted to see, and yeah, I thought that it would have been totally cool to see that, and that's I'd have it be a Hell in a Cell because it's Undertaker, and big match like this, how could it not be something really spectacular like a Hell in a Cell, and I think it'd be pretty awesome.
My number 2 match, dream match of all time, would be Finn Balor versus Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't think of that.
And it was kind of like, who do I put with Finn Balor? Because I want Finn Balor to be on this list. I'm like, who can I put with Finn Balor? And I was watching one of his worst matches with Conan on Uncensored. It wasn't because of him; it was because of Conan. Anyway, I see Eddie, and I'm just like, yeah, that's the person I want to put with Finn Balor. I think it would be a great match. It would be an enjoyable match. It would be a very entertaining match. But I would want like lying, cheating, stealing Eddie Guerrero, heel, but still better than that. So yeah, Finn Balor versus Eddie Guerrero, my number 2 dream match of all time. And so we reach the number 1.
The number 1 spot. For some reason, I feel like ours are going to be the same.
It probably is because it's been implanted in my brain.
Yeah, and I've wanted this ever. It's been in this for a long time. Okay. On the count of 3, why don't we just say them at the same time? Right?
It's gonna be the different. Okay, on the count of 3.
1,
2,
3. AJ Styles versus Shawn Michaels.
and we can say thank you to AJ Styles for putting this in our head. I didn't know I wanted this match until he put the poster up on his social media saying that was possibly going to happen. It's like, crap. Now I do want to see this match. And I even stopped myself. I said, yes, I want to see this match, but who else in all the history of wrestling would I want to see AJ Styles wrestle? I couldn't think of anybody. I mean, I could think of other people, but not Shawn Michaels. Why did you pick this?
I picked this because ever since I listened to the Stone Cold podcast with AJ Styles, it was like in late June or whatever, he said, who's the wrestler that you most looked up to, wanted to be like? And he said, easy, Shawn Michaels. And, he talked about Shawn and stuff, and Stone Cold was just like, oh, man, Shawn, you two, that would be a hellacious match right there. And I was just like, yeah, it would. I was driving while I was listening to the podcast. I actually, went in a daze for a second while I was driving thinking about this.
And you ended up in South Carolina?
And,
or Georgia, wherever he's from.
No, I was going to camp out there. Oh. And yeah, I was just like, huh. Yeah, it popped into my head, and I was just like, I was like, that would be an awesome match. And ever since then, I've just been like, that's what I want. That would be the ultimate, for me anyway, and you too.
Yeah.
And it would be awesome, it would be AJ Styles now because he's the best he's ever been, and I would choose probably 2008 Shawn Michaels.
Mm-hmm.
Because after as good as he was back in the late 80s and early mid '90s. When he came back from his injury, 2002, he was even better.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know how it was that he was better, but he was even better. And like that run he had from 2002 to 2010 was amazing. And you know that because that was the Shawn Michaels I was most familiar with. And so yeah, that's what I would want. Yeah, like 2008 era Shawn Michaels versus present AJ Styles, and like that would just be it would probably just be a regular match because I don't think it would need a stipulation.
No.
I don't think it needs to be a steel cage or anything. I think it would be awesome. I mean,
But a ladder match would be fun.
a ladder match would be fun.
Just a regular ladder match.
But I just feel like if you do something like that, it would take away from that. But yeah, yeah, I'm just geeking out right now thinking over like how awesome it would be if these guys laced up the boots and went at it. It would be probably the best match ever.
Yep, it probably would.
I mean, talk about Shawn Michaels, who has won 11 Match of the Year awards, 8 of them consecutively, which is bananas.
Yep.
The guy never phoned in a match. I mean, you can accuse him of overdoing a match, like when he fought Hogan and flopped everything and went crazy.
Well, yeah, and that was for reasons.
And that was because Hogan was being a jerk.
Yep.
And even then, I don't blame him for what he did. But yeah, it would be amazing. It would be the best.
Yep, I agree. So that ends our top 10 of dream matches. Very wide variety.
Any honorable mentions that you couldn't think of?
I was trying to think
you
of
left off.
Yeah, I was trying to think of ECW characters that I really enjoyed and trying to team them up, and I just couldn't think of anybody that I was just like, yes, I would like to see with this person. I can't think of anything. I'm sure we could probably put a Royal Rumble together of all of our dream, all like
yeah, that'd be crazy.
Our favorite characters. But no, I can't think of anything else. Did you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah. The Dolph Ziggler Ric Flair one. I'd said I almost put that one on. I thought that one kind of would have been kind of cool. Then also I had what's his name? Big guy who fought Hogan. Earthquake versus Goldberg. I want to see Goldberg just like destroy Earthquake. I don't know. It's just like just like a goofy one, like
That's
just
funny.
kind of an obscure one. I thought, but yeah, that was a lot of fun. Doing that, and it was funny because like I was just like, okay, he hasn't said AJ Styles yet, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna say the same thing.
Really funny.
So that was great. That was hilarious.
I didn't know it was going to be my number one until I just kept thinking. I was like, no, that's the number one. That's the number one match that's going to be on there.
Maybe we could do another top 10, excluding the Shawn Michaels match, where we have to do top 10 AJ Styles matches of all time we would want. Because mine easily could have been that.
AJ versus everybody that's on that list.
Yeah, AJ versus Roman. Again, shut up, I want
it. Yeah, AJ versus Hart
Orton.
Foundation.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So awesome. Well, that's episode 15 of WWPWW. We will see you guys next week when we talk about Survivor Series. I have a feeling that we're going to have a lot to talk about. I'm feeling it's going to be quite the discussion.
I would agree. I think a lot of stuff, if our predictions are true, a lot of stuff is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just be saying the same things over.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be like a SummerSlam where we're just completely like flabbergasted and shocked as to what happened and why they did what they did.
Yep.
Because they've been on a roll here with the last 4 pay-per-views, for the most part. I mean, No Mercy was the best one so far, and this has potential to beat that. So let's hope it is really, really good. So that'll do it for us here at WWPWW. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jeremy.
Signing off.
Peace.